Hello, welcome to my first video. I think it's very interesting that my first video is going to be about a book. I'm not specifically trying to get onto BookTube or anything like that. BookTube has its own very special and unique set of troubles and tribulations that I definitely don't want to get into or in the middle of. But I think that we really need to talk about Where the Crawdads Sings. I guess I am oh wait, that's not the title. It's Where the Crawdads Sing. Okay, anyways, I really think that there was an issue within the book that I haven't seen other people talk about. I'm guessing now that people are more talking about the movie rather than the book itself. But as you can see here, I have a ton of notes and post-its within the book, and I only ever write notes in the book when I have to do it for summer reading. So since I have to read this book for school, I now need to talk about it and share it with other people so they can suffer with me. But like I was saying earlier, I haven't seen anyone address the issues that I had with this book, which I thought was very interesting. I will say as though this book was more popular in 2018, and I did not know this book existed until 2020. So to be fair, that's more my fault than anyone else's. But again, with the rising popularity of the book through the movie, I would suspect more people to be talking about it, but I have not seen anybody address the book. I also will be talking about any of the more popular problematic features of the book, especially since the author, Delia Owens, is possibly murdered. And what makes that even worse is that it's possible that the murder she committed was based on the murder in the book. So I guess if I'm going to be mentioning murder in the book, I should say spoiler warning, even though I won't be giving out any large spoilers, because if you're reading the book, you probably know that it includes a murder mystery, especially if you're trying to figure out what genre the book is a part of. But all of that put aside, I haven't seen anyone talk about the main issues I have with this book, and I feel like the issues I had should have been talked about, especially in 2018, and I haven't seen them brought up. You know how people say things like, this shouldn't exist, it's like 2022, like, how are you racist, it's 2022, how are you homophobic, it's 2022. It's like, how did people let this just happen? How did people let Delia Owens get away with writing this? It was 2018, like, what in the world? That's how I feel about a certain topic within this book that I will get into. And I think it's especially crazy that I got into the Reese book club. I'm assuming that's referring to Reese Witherspoon. I'll do my research here. I will actually look it up. I won't be lazy. I'll do work. Okay, you're welcome. But I guess it kind of does make sense. I feel like based off of the current work that Reese Witherspoon has done and the current media she's been in, like Little Fires Everywhere and Big Little Lies, or whatever it's called. That TV show was actually good. I watched some of it with my mom. That was good. This book is not that good. This book is like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 if I'm not focusing on the problematic features. 5 out of 10 if I am. Maybe I'm being too lenient. You tell me after I finish reading the book. But yeah, I just wanted to address some of the issues I had with this book. I love repeating myself 20 times. You guys must find that to be very fun. And what I'm going to be focusing on is one of the main relationships within this book, one of the main romantic relationships. There are a ton of relationships within the book between Kaya and her first love, Trent. I forget his name. Hold on. I don't like him, as you can tell. Like, I liked him enough to not remember his name or care about what his name is. Tate. Okay, yes. His name was Tate. Nothing good comes with the name Tate. Y'all remember Tate from American Horror Story? Yeah, me too. I also had an Evan Parker phase. Is that his name, Evan Parker? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I have that phase too. It's okay, guys. It's okay. I was once a middle schooler as well. We've all been there. But again, like, if someone's named Tate, it's a red flag. There's a red flag. Like, if your name's Tate, I'm sorry, but red flag. If your nickname's Tate, that's different. If your name's Tate, you might want to go to the courthouse and change that. That's just my advice. But my main problem is the relationship between Tate and Kaya. Now, the relationship between Tate and Kaya, it's cute and dandy. It's fine. It's giving very much brother and sister. It's giving very much teacher and pupil. It's cute. It's respectful. And you're like, okay, I can vibe with this. Is there trauma bonding involved? Yes. Kaya was just abandoned by her brother and her father. Yes, Tate's mother and sister did drive in a car accident while going to get his birthday gift. But, like, if they're not trauma bonding, is the relationship worth it? Yes, it is worth it. Please respect yourself. It is worth it. You guys deserve more than relationships based on trauma bonding, but I digress. Wow, I didn't even think about that before recording this video. That in itself is an issue that Miss Owens does not actually talk about. And that is my problem with a lot of this book, actually. Delia Owens, she brings up all of these issues, which are very important. She brings up all of these different social aspects, these social problems, but she brings them up, she touches on them, but she never actually deals with them. She doesn't talk about any solutions. She talks about how they affect Kaya, but she doesn't necessarily talk about how it affects the society in general, other than the very direct murder and not other more implicit consequences of social discrimination and other issues like that. And that's why I think where she faults a lot as an author, she's capable of talking about these issues and bringing them up, but she's just not capable of executing it in a way where she truly addresses them, gets to the roots of them, and talks about them in a very thorough manner. This is off topic. I'm going to be getting off topic a lot, as you can tell already. But something that I really disliked is how she compared Kaya, who's white, to her living experiences to the living experiences of a black woman in the 60s and 70s. And as you can see, I'm black. And as a black girl, that didn't rub me the right way, obviously. Like, it's very much giving white people trying to be oppressed. It's giving don't tread on me. You know what I mean? We don't stand. We're not living for it. We're all dramatic. Thank you. There we go. But that's not the main issue. We're gonna get back on topic. Stay with me. Stay with me. Brent and Kaya. Let's get back to it. Or Troy. No. How am I going to switch from the capital of New Jersey to upstate New York? It's not making sense. Oh my gosh. Wait. Think American Horror Story. Tate and Kaya. So as I said earlier, Tate and Kaya's relationship starts off very cute. It's getting meet cute. They literally have a little meet cute moment. The relationship gives AO3. It gives Wattpad, and I will expand on that, and I mean that in the worst way possible. Like, this book deserves a 6 out of 10 and got, and I will prove that to you. But at first it's like, okay, I can vibe with this. If Miss Owens just kept it as a nice brother and sister, teacher and student, like mentor-mentee relationship, I would have been like, you know what? Slay. I love when relationships between the opposite genders or sexes aren't automatically made into something that's romantic or sexual. I stand. I love when that happens. I'm tired of everything being romanticized and sexualized, especially as someone who does not vibe with those emotions or feelings personally. But sadly, all dreams, they don't come true. Hilary Duff was lying. This is not what dreams are made of. Gordo understands what I'm talking about. So, when the romantic, and yes, there's a romantic relationship between Tate and Kaya begins. Kaya is 14 and, give me a drum roll please, Tate is 18! Yes, I know. Calm down. I felt the exact same way. I gasped. I threw up. I was revolted. I was shaking, crying, chills all over my spine, in my blankets, wrapped up, in tears, sobbing, going online, seeing if anybody else thought this was problematic.
Oh my God. I can't. I am disgusted.
Kate and Taya have a 4-year age gap, and there's nothing wrong with having a 4-year age gap. The problem is when you have a 4-year age gap between a child and an adult. When you have a 4-year age gap between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old. That's weird. If you're an 18-year-old currently with a 14-year-old, if you're a senior currently with a freshman, reevaluate yourself and realize you are a problem and that you need to fix yourself. That's an issue. It's an issue, babe. It's an issue. It's an issue. Fix it, please. Thank you very much. End that. Please end that. It's not healthy for you or the younger person in the relationship. Just let's stop glamorizing these weird high school student teacher type things because it's very much getting Pretty Little Liars. How are we going to have American Horror Story and Pretty Little Liars? That's the definition of toxicity. Tumblr is shaking in its grave, in its boots. Woo, girl. I can't do this right now. My problem is not that Delia Owens includes a irresponsible and not good relationship with a very unhealthy age gap. That's not my problem. Because you can include problematic subject matter and have things that, like, I don't expect books to be perfect. I don't expect people in books to be perfect. I don't expect their relationships to be perfect, their lives to be perfect. Then all books would be boring. All characters would be boring. I love a problematic character. I love the trauma. Like, trauma slaves. Like, yes! Trauma. Like, you know what, and honestly, Julia Owens really does give a little life. Like, she says, we're gonna give Kaya mommy issues, daddy issues, like, we're gonna try to make her relatable to all readers. I personally couldn't relate, but she tried, but it's less that she included the relationship and more how she addressed it. She included the relationship, but then made it seem like there was no issue with it. The whole time, the relationship is just very much romanticized and glamorized, like Tate is doing nothing wrong. In no way do I blame Kaya. Kaya here is the one in trouble. Like, she's the one who needs saving. Yet, Miss Owens, like, she makes Tate seem like this big savior figure for Kaya. But, like, you can help someone, teach someone without taking advantage of their emotions, like knowing that they have abandonment issues, and then also sexualizing them. And like, he even touches on that. He says, like, I love Kaya, but I don't want to mess with her innocence. I love Kaya, but like, she's so young. Then stop. But then we're supposed to like him. But then we're supposed to love him. But then we're supposed to root for him. No, mama. That's not how that works. That's not how that works, girl. I'm not about to do that. I might be young, but I'm not stupid. Okay, maybe sometimes, but no. Maybe when I was writing that essay. Woo! Ooh, that's cool essay, girl. We don't have to talk about that, but no. I understood that there were problems with this book. I was aware. So to show you guys an example of what I mean, I'm going to be reading from pages 134 to 135 in this edition of the book. I wanted to get into it. Okay, pages 134 to 135. Here we go. I will be voice acting here, so you're welcome. Okay, do you have your books out? Ladies and gents? Thank you. Okay, there we go. Tate watched her for a second. no longer thinking about frogs. He stepped toward her purposely. His expression stopped her in front of a broad oak. He took her shoulders, her 15-year-old shoulders. In this point of the book, it's a 15-year-old and 19-year-old age gap, just for extra context. They've known each other for a year. He took her 15-year-old shoulders and pushed her firmly against the tree, holding her 15-year-old arms along her sides. He kissed her, his 19-year-old groin pushing against hers. Since Christmas they had kissed and explored slowly, not like this. He had always taken the lead, but had watched her questioningly for signs to desist. Not like now. Okay, not listening to non-verbal consent cues. Okay, that's cute. Okay. He pulled away, the deep golden brown layers of his 19-year-old eyes boring into hers. This is not a direct. I'm not directly reading. I'm obviously adding my own commentary, just in case you weren't sure. Slowly, he unbuttoned her shirt and pulled it off, exposing her 15-year-old breast. He took his time to examine them with his 19-year-old eyes and fingered, circling her. I can't say the word myself, because I'm honestly disgusted by reading this part of the book because of just how weird it is, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let's continue. Okay. Then he unzipped her shorts and pulled them down until they dropped to the ground. Almost naked for the first time in front of him, she panted and moved her hands to cover herself. Okay, now verbal consent cues coming again. Gently, he moved her hands away and took his time looking at her body. Oh my gosh, her 15-year-old groin throbbed as if all her blood had surged there. He stepped out of his 19-year-old shorts and, still staring at her, pushed his 19-year-old against her. When she turned away in shyness, okay, again, like these non-verbal consent cues are screaming. He lifted her chin and said, look me in the eyes, Kaya. Tell me this is an AO3. Tell me this is a Wattpad. Tell me you didn't read this last night at AO3. Tell me, you can't. Tate. She reached out. My dad is passing by my room, and I'm not about to embarrass myself for this video. It's not worth it. Okay, let's get back into it. Tate! She reached out, trying to kiss him, but he held her back, forcing only her eyes to take him in. She didn't know raw nakedness could bring such want. I wonder why, she's only like 15. He whispered his hands against her inner thighs, and instinctively she steps each foot to the side slightly. His fingers moved between her legs and slowly massaged parts of her she never knew existed. She threw her head back and whimpered. Abruptly, he pushed away from her and stepped back. God, Kaya, I'm sorry. Tate, please, I want to. Not like this, Kaya. Why not like this? Okay, Kaya didn't know consent either. No means no, don't fight it. She reached for his shoulders and tried to pull him back to her. Y'all need a lesson on consent. Why not? She said again. He picked up her clothes and dressed her, now touching her where she wanted, where parts of her body still pounded. Then he lifted her and carried her to the creek bank, put her down and sat beside her. Kaya, I want you more than anything. I want you forever. But you're too young. You're only 15. So what? You're only 4 years older. 19. It's not like you're suddenly Mr. Know-It-All adult. Yes, but I can't get pregnant, and I can't be as easily damaged by this. I won't do it, Kaya. Because I love you. There was nothing about the words she understood. Okay, that's it. I can't read anymore. I can't do it anymore. I already had to read this once. I'm not reading it again. I'm not reading it again. No, it's fun. It's funny though. These were the notes I added though when I first did my initial read of the book, and I still stand by them. I am ... ellipses are important, disgusted, How is he going to lead her on like this, the edging of it all, as the older person, and then be like, "You're too young," as if he wasn't aware of that the whole time. Period. Ew. All caps. Thank you very much. EW. I still stand by that. As I was saying earlier, at least I think I said this earlier. I'm not really sure. Tate is well aware of their age difference. He knows that Kaya is so young compared to her. He talks about wanting to preserve her innocence, which in itself is weird, like innocence and purity in terms of younger girls. Like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. As a teen girl. No, we're not doing that. Thank you very much. I'm shaking my boots. We do not stand by that. But it's like, he says it himself. How it's like, oh, am I going to affect her? Like, she's so young. Like, compared to me, she's so young. I don't want to, like, affect that. Like, I don't want to hurt her because she's so young. It's like, no, baby. You're an 18-year-old dating a 15-year-old. You are going to hurt her. I'm sorry. That's weird. You need to get checked out. You need to get checked out. I'm sorry to break it to you. So, again, I don't have an issue with Delia Owens portraying this relationship. I have an issue with her portraying it in such a glamorized, romanticized, and positive light. Tate receives zero consequences for what he does. Zero consequences. It's like, rather, Tate again is just seen as the savior. Like, he does ultimately abandon her at one point in the book, but it's like, he might face consequences for like breaking up with her in a very crappy way. Like, he basically leaves her without ever saying goodbye for like years. You have to read the book to understand. I'm not going to get into all that. But he faces issues and consequences with Kai because of that, but not because of the way he started such an inappropriate relationship with her when she was just 14 and he was 18. And I get it, it's the 60s and 70s, but that doesn't make it any more okay. And that doesn't make it any less of an issue that Delia Owens could have addressed within the book. And she could have shown, like, oh, this is how this could affect Kaya because she's so young. Or, like, oh, these are consequences that Tate could face because of this. Or this is how, like, this can affect Kaya's development. Not because of the way he abandoned her, but because of the age difference between the two, like, their lapses in maturity. And she even mentions the differences in maturity, but not how it's going to affect Kaya in the long run. And that's the main problem I just have with Delia Owens in the first place. Like, she just has the issues, but no long-term consequences other than the murder involved with the book's murder mystery. And that's just why I give this book a 6 out of 10. And the writing is just not that interesting. The writing is not that interesting. It wasn't Chef's Kiss. It wasn't Chef's Kiss, like, I don't know how, it wasn't, I haven't read any other books on Reese's Book Club, but if something is being promoted by Reese Witherspoon, I'm expecting it to be Chef's Kiss, and this was maybe at best a chef's clap and a half. That's just the thing that it gives it, but honestly, it's like, I don't know to explain this. I'm just tired of seeing these romanticized relationships between these people with these inappropriate age gaps and maturity gaps, and then they're not properly addressed by the people producing the content. And that was my main problem with Where the Crawdads Sings, and I'm just surprised that no one else has talked about it. But again, as a black teen girl, the way Delia Owens describes Kaya and this particular relationship, comparing her to black women, putting her in this relationship with Tate and making it seem like it's all willy-nilly, fine and dandy, it just really ruined my experience with the book. Well, I wouldn't say ruined, but it really damaged my experience with the book. I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I think I could have because of the way the book was written and how these types of issues were addressed. But yeah, my rating.
Damn.
It's a D, 60% to 50 to 60%. 50. I'll be nice, I guess. 55 to 60%. That's the grade I'm giving this book, and I think that's a fair grade. I think it was overhyped. It didn't need a movie. Just trying to profit off of YA and young adults and younger audiences, even though I doubt younger audiences really consume this book. You know what? Not younger audiences, moms and middle-aged women. That's why it's on the Reese's Book Club. We're just gonna keep going back to Reese Witherspoon. This is what this video is about. My hatred for Reese Witherspoon. Just kidding. Legally Blonde was iconic. Thank you very much. But that's the end of this video. We expected better from you, Taylor, because she wrote a song for the movie. But you know what? I'm just happy all her songs slap. I don't know how to end this. Don't read the book. If you want a book that tackles discrimination and race and inappropriate relationships well, read the Song of Solomon. There you go. Okay,